Hello people, I am Jaby Koay, joined by JARAD KOPCIAK.
YOLO.
We're looking at Kalki, the official trailer with Rajasekhar, and it's directed by Prasanth Varma. Fun fact, looking at the YouTube description, Rajasekhar is a doctor. First time I'm ever watching a movie trailer starring a doctor.
That's cool. I'm also a doctor, so yeah. Lucky you.
Are you being for reals?
Nope.
Okay.
Not a doctor.
Sounds like Jaws.
Yeah, it's dope. Whoa! Is that a body?
That music's really cool though. That's a cool shot too.
Wow, this is cool. Yeah.
I love these overhead shots.
This is awesome.
Wow. I love the cinematography already.
Music is so cool.
Holy crap. I got goosebumps, yeah.
That was so awesome.
I don't know what that's about.
That was so simple. It was so cool.
Yeah, I don't know what it's about, but I'm loving the cinematography for sure. The music, too.
Holy moly. I noticed, you know, when they were going in that big boat, that big circular boat? Mm-hmm. I want one of those boats. I want that boat.
Let me just start a screen recording because I know you're going to want to point out stuff.
I mean, that was so cool.
It says based on real events, too.
That's a body!
Oh, I didn't even catch that. I just saw
There's a couple bodies
I just saw the tree. And this opening shot right here where it's like looking, I don't even know how they're getting this shot, but it looks so great. Because it's like a helicopter view and it's just kind of panning with it. I imagine it was just shot in very high resolution and the panning was done in post. But even this shot with the person walking and the camera perfectly tracking with him or her.
This is crazy.
Yeah, that slow motion shot was beautiful. The like the super slow motion stuff.
That's my boat.
Yeah. Oh, I guess they're all looking at the tree there. And the shafts of light coming through the window looks beautiful.
So beautiful.
That tight shot, that shot with like a 1.8 aperture because everything is thrown out of shallow depth of field. I'm guessing there's some kind of religious thing here. It's like either like cult or religion or both. That shot right there was so beautiful with the
swinging the axie.
Well, not just that, but I mean every shot, the rain, the Matrix rain, and then this right here, the helicopter,
Assassin's Creed-esque.
I didn't even
just
think of
wanted
that.
him to dive off that cliff.
Yeah, exactly. With the sun, I mean that's some incredible timing right there. Like, okay, so we're gonna wait for the sun to hit that perfect point, which is what do you call that? It's the
sunset,
the golden hour. So like that perfect golden hour, which is supposedly when it's like okay for your eyes to look at sunlight, like directly at the sun. I'm not a scientist or a doctor.
Try it.
Don't take my word for that. You do your own research and Google it. I was told that it's okay to look at sunlight when it's at its low point because it's not going to harm your eyes. It's actually good for you and your skin. Totally irrelevant to this.
I've been told it's always okay to look at the sun. Is that wrong?
I can't see anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
No, it's like everything looks like specks. This is just a difficult shot to get, in my opinion. Like you have to wait for that, and hopefully that guy's
was just standing there for like 6 hours waiting for the shot to get done.
But I'm like just hoping that there's like some kind of safety measure in place. And so the dude twirling the axe behind him was great because the camera moved with the axe, and so cameras moving with action is always wonderful, and it's like it tracked with it wonderfully. This shot that follows it, that silhouette of the guy as the cops flank him and move past him, that's great. I mean,
super intense.
Super shallow depth of field.
Also, like, they're using axes and stuff, but then there's guns, so it's like, I couldn't really tell the time period almost.
I'm sure it's modern. You just got people who are...
It's just cool that they're using axes and spears. It's dope.
I mean, if you go back and watch Drunken Master 2, Jackie Chan's movie, there's an axe gang.
I love that movie.
There's axe gangs, like in, that was a thing in the olden days, even though there were guns and whatnot. You still had those guys. But, like, the way that they're shooting it looks wonderful. Like, when the guy brings his axe, like, back right towards the camera center frame in super slow motion, it's just beautiful. Like... It looks so amazing. The colors are popping in this trailer.
That was an awesome, very cool trailer.
Yeah.
Do you think we should start an axe gang?
That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Just walk around with axes. That's not going to be a threat.
I don't know if I should say this, but a
especially
lot of those shots reminded me of Game of Thrones, and maybe it's just because it's happening right now, so I'm only thinking about Game of Thrones. Like the first couple, like the burning of the tree, I don't know why. Also Lord of the Rings, you know, the Tree of Gondor or whatever. That body's freaking me out.
I'm sure that the burning of the tree was also informed in Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones by older
100%.
historical things.
Definitely.
Maybe even from India.
Maybe from this.
Yeah, maybe from maybe this movie's from the
the
past.
future.
No, it's from the past. The burning of the tree thing it sounds like an old, even mythological thing.
But now also whenever I see snow, I think of Lord of the Rings, so it's really not like anything. It's just that I'm probably, or not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Also Lord of the Rings.
I really dig this overhead shot though of how it's tracking with the people. That's a big thing for this director is camera tracking action.
And action moving one way and camera moving the other as well.
Right. I forget what they call that.
Reversies?
Reversies. Or it's a counter motion.
Yeah.
But most of what I noticed was moving with it, and I really dig that. It's difficult. I just wonder if the average person appreciates that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because
Subconsciously, I'm sure, maybe not like they realize what they're seeing, but it's so much more appealing to see, like you said, movement in a shot.
But like the Hitchcock effect. You know the Hitchcock shot where the camera's dollying in while it's zooming out, or vice versa.
Your boy Scorsese does it all the time too.
Yeah, exactly. And so what happens is the background looks like it's shifting while the subject stays relatively the same in the frame. I don't think most people care about that. They're just engaged in the story.
Yeah.
They don't really care about the cool effects. It takes people who like are film aficionados and cinephiles to be like, oh, that was amazing. So
one tear.
Yeah.
I was wrong. It's going with it. You were right.
Yeah, exactly. But even this like slow drone shot going through, I don't even know what this is, a river?
It looks so cool. I mean, it's just so beautiful.
It's like wonderful locations.
And you get this sense of dread also. The music helps, but like that is terrifying.
Yeah, it's scary to look at. There's a lot of shallow depth of field. I almost wonder if this was shot on a DSLR, a high-end DSLR like the 1DX. Maybe it wasn't. It was shot on like something like the Red or whatever. But
Thanks for freezing on my boat. Oh yeah, I really want that boat.
I'm very, very curious though about what it was shot on, because that shallow depth of field got introduced by Philip Bloom or something like that. He was the one that pioneered the use of the 5D as a means of shooting movies. And he would just constantly shoot at like 1.4 aperture and stuff like that.
Interesting.
It doesn't say what it was shot on.
It doesn't even have a description of what it's about.
Yeah. Well, that's not surprising. IMDb often just silly like that. It's like, I'd like to know more about your movie. It's Malayalam. And it doesn't say what it was shot on. I would love to know more about this movie, because those are some cool shots.
Really cool.
Does it remind you of anything? Any films you love?
Other than Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings?
There's this shot right here, 48 seconds. I couldn't tell if these people were just motionless, like meditating, or just trying to be at peace, or if they all died, like it was a mass suicide.
When it goes to the above shot, I'm like, I think they're dead.
This looks like straight up Heaven's Gate. Like it was a mass suicide.
Yeah.
Of a bunch of people all at once. If you don't know what Heaven's Gate is, it was a religious cult that was here in the States where 40 people were supposed to kill themselves. One didn't, got out of the cult, but 39 people still killed themselves. This guy was like touting himself as the new Jesus. He couldn't do anything else with the cult, so he just had everyone murder themselves, including himself. And they all cut off their genitalia. They all made themselves eunuchs and...
Why? They were going to kill themselves anyway.
Well, this was well before that. I don't think they knew they were going to commit suicide, but...
Man.
It seems like this film is definitely dealing with cult-ish stuff or religious stuff, and it's showing you the dark side of it. Those films are intense because you see just how people get sucked into this cult. They get brainwashed and stuff like that. The things that they do is kind of horrific. What was the actress that recently got she was brought to justice recently because she was helping this sex cult scandal take place? You didn't know about this?
No.
It was an actress that was on a WB show. I can't remember her name for the life of me. I think it was a WB show. Actress, sex cult.
You had me
scandal.
at sex cult.
Smallville actress Allison Mack. So,
what?
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
No.
Yeah, she was helping with this whole sex cult, but basically luring women in, getting information on them that would basically be totally detrimental to their reputation, like completely kill their careers. They could not leave, just like with Scientology, like they have information on you so you can't leave. These people get stuck in this cult and then they continue to get brainwashed and then end up believing in this thing. It's like Stockholm Syndrome in a way. They're trapped. It feels like this film is sort of touching on that. Even the poster has this chain on it, and I don't know if the chain represents a weapon or being chained, like enslaved.
Probably both.
You know, it's...
And that looks like a military patch on his shoulder, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, the guy is just trying to like sort this out.
You asked me what this sort of reminds me of, have you ever seen Children of Men? It kind of reminds me of that in a sense.
In terms of the way it's shot?
Maybe not in necessarily what it's shot, but what I'm assuming the content is like and what it, and how the feeling of it.
Yeah.
More of like, it's kind of intimate. But also there's a bunch of I don't know, what am I trying to say? It's him versus the world sort of thing. And so it seems like there's a bigger, like you're saying, like there's a cult or something going on where it's like there's something big happening.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
But in Children of Men is the reverse, because he actually has Jesus, basically. The woman with the baby.
Yeah, I guess technically, yeah. You should see Children of Men.
This shot right here, whenever I see a shot like this, it always reminds me of Matrix Revolutions. I know that's a weird movie to bring up, but I remember watching the behind the scenes of Matrix Revolutions where they talked about how the rain was thicker in order to register on the frame.
Oh, wow.
And so like here you're seeing like these thick droplets coming down past the frame. And I have no idea if they had to do anything special there. Maybe they didn't. But it always reminds me of that because a lot more goes into creating rain in terms of that particular look than you would imagine. That's true for everything in film. Rain is something so like you'd think that you just put a sprinkler on and it's done. Everything has to be thought about. They didn't really show us the action in this, which I'm very curious about. I'm very curious not only about like what kind of action, but how it's edited.
That's so true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like they captivated you just with the tone and the potential subject matter that you're going to encounter here, but not even they didn't even show you any action. And I'm like, wow, there's more to look forward to here.
It's crazy.
So
and no violence yet.
So you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to check out Jared on the social media. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, interviews. I am Jaby Koay. This is
JARAD KOPCIAK.
Peace out.